Hello, everybody. Apologies in advance for the glare of my glasses, but when I woke up this morning, I could not face sticking my fingers in my eyes. You know what? You've just had such a busy week, and you're like, I just can't do it. I can't do content this morning. I just need to be able to wake up slowly. It's been a really, really busy week this week, as every week is in the Whitworth household. We've gone back to school in terms of homeschooling my children. So we have our dining room that's basically no longer a dining room, it's a schoolroom, with everything set out like an actual schoolroom. And my kids have gone back to school, and we started off by doing some tests to go over the objectives and all of the things that they learned from last year. They both did really, really well in the tests. So that set us off for a really good homeschool year. So I feel really excited about that. Love teaching my children. It's one of my favorite things. I absolutely love seeing how they pick things up, how quickly they learn. And my youngest child read me a book the other day, and it was a really difficult book for the age that she is. And she read it flawlessly with all of the intonation that was in there as well. Read all of the characters with different voices. And I felt really proud because I thought, wow, I taught her to read. So it's been busy in the Whitworth household also as well. I have been working for the second half of the week. Had 6 clients this week. I only see 6 people a week. So I see 2 on a Wednesday, a Thursday, and a Friday. That's why I'm always booked out quite far in advance, because I only see 6 people a week. And I have a really long waiting list at the moment for people who are looking to have sessions with me, and I can't fit them in because I only see 6 people a week. So today's video, I want to go into in more detail what entity release is so people understand it. Now, I get a lot of emails, messages, YouTube comments, Facebook messages, Instagram messages, texts, phone calls, letters, parcels, from people all over the world wanting to know how they can do entity release. And they'll say to me, look, I've watched your videos. I think what you're saying is right. I've got some of these symptoms myself, can track them back to my own traumas. But I don't want to see you, with respect, and I don't want to see any of your practitioners. I'm kind of a private person. I want to do this myself. So how can I do it? And I get multiple people asking me that. So I want to address that today in a video. I want to explain fully how this works and why it is advisable for you to see somebody to help you with this once. After you've seen somebody once who will help you with this, so either myself or one of the practitioners, of which there are 300 people plus trained over the world now that can do this technique. Once you've seen one of us once, you can then do it yourself. And everybody that I work with that sees me, I will say to them, right, now we've done this together, you need to do this on yourself every week moving forwards. But we need to nip everything in the bud before we get to the point where we might need to do entity release. So you've got to completely overhaul your life in order to ensure that you're not going to get any entities moving forwards, because that's the whole point of this. This is what I really want to stress to everybody. All of this is divinely perfect and wonderful. But at this time on planet Earth, Source has sent in a team of people, which is us, practitioners that do this, to help the people that are ready to evolve to be able to do it. Because all avenues of experience have to be supported. This is a free will universe. It's free choice rules. So because of the fact that so many peoples are now so many humans, not peoples, so many peoples are now aware of the fact that entities are an actual thing. And, they might have considered it to start off with and they thought that sounds a little bit woo-woo, but then they've listened more to the kind of stuff that I talk about and they've tracked it to their own bodies, their own symptoms, their own behaviors, and they think to themselves, no, I think she might have got a point there, actually. Um, More and more people are waking up. More and more people are wanting to get rid of their entities, to vibrate higher and to move forwards. And so Source will always respond to that. Always. Now, I speak to multiple demons and entities for a living. It's what I do. And they will say to me, why? Why does this have to change? Why? Why are the humans doing this? They are ours. We are used to feeding off of them. They are not allowed to leave. And that's what they believe. And they have taken that power and control away from us. And they have done it for a very, very long time. And it's the old Jeff Goldblum saying, isn't it, from Jurassic Park, life will find a way. Over time, humans have become so dilapidated and so ill, and they have cried out to Source, to God for help, and God responds. So we are the response. So we're like the white blood cells in the body of the universe. There's trouble over here. We need to send in reinforcements. That's us. So we come in and we start administering this technique, which cleans and clears all of these humans off so that they can vibrate higher, so that they can heal, so that they can evolve. And that, in my opinion, is ascension, along with all of the celestial stuff, which is also happening at the same time. As above, so below, as within, so without. I say to my practitioners and my students, there is a Hopi saying, and please don't quote me, and I know I'm going to get a million messages now going, you said that wrong. It wasn't anything to do with that. Many apologies. I am paraphrasing. Don't quote me on this. But it's something along the lines of there will be a great station that falls out of the sky. And when all of the, I am totally paraphrasing here because I can't remember it. When all of the food is gone and when you've chopped down the last tree and nothing else is left and all that kind of thing, um, there will be a new tribe of people on the earth, children of the rainbow, and they will bring about the necessary changes for the new earth. Look up that quote. It's not that at all, but you get the general gist. And I believe that we are the children of the rainbow because we are a rainbow. Humans are a rainbow when their chakras are clean and clear. Now, your chakra system connects you into the energy of the earth. We are a part of the earth. Humans seem to have completely forgotten this. It's been bred out of us generationally, ancestrally, over time. What has been bred into us is social status, money. What position in society do you have? We're a part of the planet. Your chakra system connects you into the earth. The earth delivers the energy that you need for your physical body to survive here as a part of the planet. So, all of these chakras deliver the colors of the rainbow from Gaia to you. You are a part of her. And if you want proof of that, the very air that you breathe out is what the trees need to survive. The air that the trees breathe out, the oxygen, is what you need to survive. If you look at the shape of the bronchial tubes in the lungs, they're the shape of a tree. If you look at the patterns on your skin, they mimic the patterns in the leaves of the trees. The fingertips, the bands on the fingertips are the same shape as what you will find in the cross section of a tree, the bands of a tree. We are Earth. We are a part of Gaia. We're as big a part of nature as a tree is. The difference between us and the tree is that we can move. We're not static, we can move. That's the only difference. We are a complex, complicated, and conscious houseplant. We need water. We are earth, we are fire, we are water, we are air, we are earth. And when you have all of these energy centers clean and clear, this band here delivers energy that makes you feel stable, secure, and safe. The reason it does that is it is your root and it connects you into the planet. Obviously, we have the Earth star as well, which is the chakra that is below that, that is connected to the Earth. But I'm talking about the main chakras that are in the physical body of the human. So when something happens to you that makes you feel fearful, makes you fear for your life, this band of beautiful red light begins to vibrate lower, begins to become dissonant from what it should be. Instead of vibrating at the beautiful vibration of true red, it starts to vibrate lower because it is connected. The energetic body is connected to the emotional body. Everything is connected: emotional body, energetic body, physical body. When the emotional body starts to feel fear, that then affects the vibration of the energy being delivered through the chakra to the physical body. Then what do we have down here? And apologies, I know you can't see this very well, but I am going to explain it. This is the band of infrared light that exists just to the side, just to the side. The human eye cannot see infrared. The naked human eye cannot see infrared, but it is a band of frequency, a band of color, a band of information. And just as we have beings that live in this part of the spectrum where we exist, where we can see, there are beings that live in this part of the spectrum, but because it vibrates outside of what the human eye can see, because it's a low vibration, that's where the entities are. Up here in ultraviolet, up into gamma, higher vibration. This is where the beings are that we hear of in myth and legend, the dragons and the unicorns and the fairies. They are not myth and legend. They are not make-believe. They exist. They've always existed. They still exist, but they exist in this band of frequency. And the fall in consciousness for humans, because we used to vibrate up here at one point as well, when we fell in consciousness and our chakra system became fractalized out like this, instead of working together as a band of light to make white light, that's when we stopped being able to see them because our vibration became lower. For me, and this is my opinion, I know it's only my opinion, but I truly do believe it, given the thousands of people that I've worked with worldwide. If we clean and clear these chakras by removing the entities that are attached to them, we then plug the true frequency of this light back into the human chakra system. It is an electrical circuit. The chakras are an electrical circuit that deliver energy, frequency, and information throughout the body. Once all of those energy centers are working together and they understand that there's no blockages, They're not separated off anymore. They can work together. Once that occurs, all of those chakras can then come together and we can then vibrate higher. And that is the work that I believe we're doing in preparation for ascension. Because as we're cleaning all of these chakras off, getting ourselves nice, clean, and clear, when that wave of light comes that boosts the vibration of everything, all of this system that's clean and clear is going to receive those codes, is going to receive that light. It is going to trigger the DNA that is going to be aided by the electrical system, electromagnetic system of the chakras. And we are going to jump in frequency to a higher dimension. That, in my opinion, is the role that Soul Center Healing Hypnosis plays in ascension. Because when we are cleaning and clearing the entities away, when we are understanding why we attracted these entities in the first place, when we are healing those traumas, we remove all of the stagnant, stale energy that that human has carried with them in their emotional and energetic body, as well as plugging the light back into that human all the way through. And so what that does is not only does it release all of that density that the human has been carrying in their emotional and energetic body, because we take all of that away, transmute it, alchemize it. When we plug the energy centers back in, connected back into Earth, so Earth is constantly sending information up, constantly cleansing and cleaning, boosting that energy. Once we do that, then all of the DNA starts to be able to begin the process of vibrating higher and assimilating and connecting. And the crown is connected to source, and then source can start to deliver information down. Everything's working together. The big wave arrives. Everything is already vibrating high anyway, but then it can cope with the electrical charge that arrives without popping. What happens if you've got a faulty electrical system and you try and plug it into a very, very high wattage? Have a think about that for a moment. If your energy centers are not clean and clear, if you have got blockages in your electrical system, your electromagnetic system, due to these entities, due to traumas, due to dense energy that's stuck in the emotional and energetic body, if you have blockages in your energetic body, and then this wave of light comes and goes, ta-da, this is what you've been waiting for. Here we go. And you're thinking, brilliant, ascension, here we go. But you've got blockages in the way your system delivers and deals with that information, deals with that light. Your electromagnetic system, your electrical system, your energetic body is not going to be able to deal with that surge in current. This is why this modality is important. It doesn't matter how many beautiful past life regression sessions you have where you connect with a part of yourself that's a fairy, or where you connect with a part of yourself that lived in Atlantis, or where you connect with a part of yourself that's doing something else in the galaxy elsewhere. They are lovely. They're nice to see. They boost you. They make you feel wonderful. But they're not going to help you when the wave comes if your energetic body is not able to cope with it. I'll get many people say to me, well, I don't really understand why you've developed this modality. I mean, we already had quantum healing and beyond quantum healing, and Dolores Cannon knew all of this stuff way before you. So why do you feel you've got to change it? Because that's evolution. That's evolution. One person cannot possibly have all of the information that humans need to know at the point in time of history that they are in. And it is the job of new humans that come along to look at that work and go, that is amazing. That's absolutely amazing. But there's also something else that can be added to that. And this is the missing piece. We need to look at the energetic body of humans. We need to look at entities, remove those. We need to do energy work on the body as well as past life regression and connecting to the higher self, because then that's the full package: body, mind, and soul. Three, the power of three: body, mind, and soul. And the body includes the emotional and the energetic body as well, not just the physical body. So I hope that answers that question. Why have I developed this? Why didn't I just leave things as they were because it's working just fine? In my opinion, it's not working just fine. It's not working just fine at all. And if somebody hadn't have developed this modality, everybody's just sat there waiting for ascension with a faulty wiring system in their energetic body. Their energetic body is not going to be able to cope with that surge of light. If you haven't already started it, you've got to start looking into the energetic body, what it is, what each chakra is responsible for in terms of delivering that light to your body. You are a rainbow, or you should be. Majority of humans do not have these frequencies being delivered into their body. They are vibrating lower. The reason they're vibrating lower is at a certain point in their life, there was a trauma that occurred which made them feel the absolute opposite emotion of what that chakra is supposed to deliver. This is to deliver stability, safety. At some point, a person will feel fear. If the fear is intense, you magnetically attract a like vibrational being. So I'll say that again. Excuse me, I have a bit of a bunged up nose today because I was very naughty this week and I ate a Singapore vermicelli, which I shouldn't do because I'm allergic to everything. I'm literally allergic to life on the surface of Earth. I should know better. I should just stick to eating my food straight out of the garden, but I needed that vermicelli. It was worth it for the snotty nose. Okay, so at some point, this person feels fear instead of stability. And let's think about 2020 when all of that happened and we know what I'm talking about. Pretty much every person on the planet went into fear at that point. So that's pretty much every person on the planet that could have a root entity. This is supposed to deliver joy. So at a certain point, you will have felt sad, very sad. And when you feel very sad, it pulls towards you because like energy seeks to join with like energy. It is a law of this universe. It will pull towards you one of these lower vibrating beings that feeds off of sadness. These beings all feed off negative emotions. That's their food. But it's negative emotions connected to a light source, which is your chakra. So when you're feeling sad for a prolonged period of time, you electromagnetically pull in an entity that is attracted to the sadness and feeds off of it. Then, once you have that entity there, you can never stabilize again in that chakra. You can never go back to having the vibration of true orange because that entity will keep you freeze framed in the emotion of sadness. And we all know those types of people, don't we, that are just perpetually sad. And you only have to say a few words to them and they start crying because they want to cry. And you think, I've spent a long time helping this person to lift their mood and they're still crying. Why is that? It's because they've got an entity attached that feeds off of sadness. Every time they cry, their entity gets fed. These guys down here that are just perpetually anxious, and it doesn't matter what you do to help them not feel anxious, they will just feel anxious constantly. That's because they have a root parasite that is keeping them in the vibration of fear. Moving up here, this is a very complex band of light, the solar plexus. Very, very complex because you get two types of entities that like to feed off of this band. You get the ones that like to dominate and control. So the narcissists, your typical narcissist has a solar plexus demon, but they have a solar plexus demon that's very high up in the social hierarchical structure of the dark energies. Then you will have people that have no confidence whatsoever, that have no self-esteem, very insecure. They will have one of the smaller underlings attached. And the underlings and the bigger guys work together. And you will see these guys always working in families. There will be a dominant person in the family that's a bully, that's a narcissist, that's controlling, that's dominant, that probably likes to use physical punishment. And then the other person that's got the smaller entity attached will be very, very subservient. And so if you've got one of these people that's got a parasite attached, the one that's the dominant one will be a complete narcissist, complete control freak, has to control everything, has to take over everything. And then the one that has the smaller entity attached, they will be very, very subservient, guilty, shame, guilt and shame. So if you've got an underling attached to your solar plexus, you will be very, very used to feeling guilt and shame constantly. And also eating disorders as well. So eating disorders come into this band of light. So if you know anybody that's got an eating disorder, either anorexia, bulimia, it's to do with the solar plexus parasite. Moving up here, grief. So people that will say, I can't get over my father's death, or whomever in the family it is. I've never gotten over it. I've always seemed to stay sad since that occurred. Grief will pull in multiple earthbound spirits that all feel grief that they died. Or it will pull in the deceased loved ones that the person feels grief over. So if that person is feeling grief over a deceased loved one, you can pull in, if that spirit and soul binds, and if they don't cross over correctly, you can pull in the energy of the deceased loved one, and it becomes a vicious perpetuating circle then, because the two are bound together. The one who's still alive can't get over it, thinks about that loved one all the time, and the loved one stays with that person because they don't really know what else to do and they don't want to leave them. Also, as well, if you've got somebody vibrating in grief, which is sadness, they will pull in something down here, because the opposite of joy is sadness. So then you've got somebody that's potentially got two entities. Up here is the throat, so throat energy. So these types of people, again, there's two different types, because this is another seat of control within the human energetic system. Many, many entities love to be in the throat, because the throat has the power to attack. A lot of the time, you'll get the one in the throat working with the one in the solar plexus, because that is the seat of power and control. And isn't it interesting? A lot of the things in our society that they want to control us, or they want us to do something, will use the colours of blue and yellow. Something for you to think about there. Subliminal power and control, asserting power, control, and dominance over people. So like if you're wanting to go to a job interview and you're wanting to feel confident and sharp, and you wanted to be able to vocally speak very, very well, come across well, you need to wear blue. That's the colour that you need to wear. Maybe with a little pop of yellow in there. So in the blue, again, like the narcissists down here, because this is a very powerful energy center, you'll get two types of people. The ones that are vicious, absolutely vicious. And they say awful things at completely inappropriate times. And you think to yourself, what on earth's going on with them? They also might maniacally laugh for no reason. And that's because they're feeding their throat demon. They will get worse if they've had a drink, because the throat demon will come out more. So they'll become even more vicious. They'll say even more nasty things. Then you get the flip of that, which is the people whose energy is completely parasited upon, but there isn't any nasty energy attached to that parasite. So with those guys, they just won't speak. They won't say anything. They'll be very, very quiet and insecure. With the third eye, these are always the people that think they're more spiritual than you. All of those people that believe that they don't need to ask for support from anybody else, that they have a greater connection than you do, and they have to assert their dominance over you to make you feel like you actually don't know what you're doing, but this person actually does. They've probably got a third eye parasite. So that's probably as much as I can share regarding the third eye. Somebody might report that they have horrible dreams or they see horrible visions. And that's because they've got something in the third eye that's trying to scare them so that they will release that flow of energy so that the entity can feed. Crown parasites, what you'll normally find there is people will say, I just can't connect. I can't connect to source. I don't seem to be able to connect. People that's got a crown parasite will lose their hair because there's no energy going to the crown. So many people that will say to me, I'm losing my hair. I don't understand why. What's going on? It's because they've got a parasite in the crown. You can also have a parasite in the soul star as well, which is the energy center just above the crown. If there's somebody that they particularly want to watch, they will place an entity in the soul star, and that then becomes that person's watcher. And they will watch the individual that's being tracked, and then that watcher will deliver the information back to other beings that are higher up in the structure. So you can get entities in the Earth star as well. So you can get all sorts of low frequency beings that are connected to the Earth. Now, these lower frequency beings that you'll get in the root and the Earth star are normally connected to areas of the land where the energy of the land has fallen to the dark. And that has happened on Gaia, where there's certain areas of the land that has fallen to the dark energy. They might still look beautiful. You might look at them and think, wow, what a beautiful place. But the energy there has fallen to the darker energy. And what happens then is when that area of the land has fallen to the dark energy, all of the beings that are connected to the land fall as well. They then flip their polarity because they're connected to the land and the land has fallen. What happens then is you go on your holidays, you go sightseeing to all of these places that you've heard about that you've always wanted to see, not knowing that the energy there is actually unfortunately dark. And one of these beings, something might happen while you're there that might put you into fear. And then one of these little beings attaches to your Earth star or your root. And then you've got a root parasite. And I'll get many people report to me, I went on this trip to somewhere. And there are several places that always come up when this is said, but I'm not going to say what they are because they'll probably take my channel down. I went on a holiday to this place. Something happened that really upset me whilst I was there. Then all of a sudden after that, I kept falling over all the time. Couldn't understand why I kept falling over all the time. Must have fallen over like 5 times on that holiday. Really hurt myself. Then when I came back, I developed sciatica. I had problems in my hips, in my knees. And it's because while they were walking around on that area of the land which has fallen to the darker energy, these elemental beings and these beings that are very connected to the land have turned and they become very mischievous and very naughty. And they end up attaching to your Earth star and your root, and they will energetically tie you up. And they think it's hilarious. Spoken to so many of these beings, they think it's absolutely hilarious that they will tie up the energetic shoelaces, if you like, of that individual so that their feet don't work properly anymore. They can't walk forwards properly without falling over. They're constantly falling over. Then the person starts to develop sciatica, which is a classic sign that you've then got a bigger energy in the root. So the little ones get in there first, destabilize the root, and then that will attract a bigger energy to come in, and they will assert dominance in the root. Then the person's got sciatica. So hopefully that's given you a deeper idea of how all of this works. Now I want to move on to explain why it's important that you have somebody to do a session with you first and foremost before you do this yourself. You've got to bear in mind, sorry, this is coming back out again. I should just keep it up, shouldn't I? You've got to bear in mind that all of these energy centers, if you have these energy centers taken, which most humans over time will have something in every energy center. If you've got all of these energy centers taken, that means every single one of these energy centers cannot stabilize in the true frequency of that color and chakra. It also means that the human cannot stabilize their emotions. They will have a tendency to be more negative than positive. If they feel a flash of joy, it won't be very long lasting because the natural resonance of the energy that is being delivered to them is polarized towards sadness. It's the inversion of what it should be. When you've got somebody that's got an entity in all of these energy centers, not only do they infiltrate and change the frequency of your energy and take it, so you don't have any of this light going into your body. And this is what connects you to the planet. They can't take the full route because if they did, you would die. But you will get a demon that will put in a cord to the root energy, and the demon will sit in the hip or in the base of the spine. And they will take energy from the spine and a bit from the root. So they can't take the full root energy because if they did, you would die. But you've got all of these entities attached to your energetic body and your emotional body because they're connected. So what does that mean going on up here? If you've got 7, and sometimes you will have a lot more than that because you've got to consider all of the earthbound spirits that may have attached, not only will people have an underling in every energy center, but the underling is connected via an energetic cord to a master, which is much more nastier. And so the underling is tasked with you stay there and you take this energy. And then the master pulls the energy from the underling so that the master gets it as well. But then the master isn't tethered. The master can go around and do whatever they want. And the master will pull energy from several humans, not just one, where the underling is tethered. If you've got 7 demons, entities in your energy centers that are connected to your consciousness, they're connected to your consciousness because everything is connected. Your emotional body, energetic body, physical body, body, mind, and soul. Mind. The mind is very important. That's why we do soul center healing hypnosis. Hypnotherapy is to do with the mind. So soul center healing hypnosis is a fusion of energy work and hypnotherapy, which is the power of the mind. So we're using the power of the mind and energetic work and traveling with the soul to see where you are elsewhere and bringing the higher self through. It's a fusion of all of that. And that's why it's so powerful. But if you're trying to do this yourself and you've had years of hearing these intrusive voices in your head telling you you're stupid, you're pathetic, you can't do this, who the hell do you think you are? You're going to try and get rid of me? You can't get rid of me. So how the hell are you going to be able, sorry for using the word hell, how on earth are you going to be able to get rid of these really strong energies in your energy centers and do this yourself? If there's your consciousness that has been beaten up and abused by these intrusive thoughts for your entire life, so much so you have accepted them as a part of your identity. They have molded and shaped your identity. So you have no confidence. You're very fearful. You have no joy. Your heart's not open because your entire energetic body has been closed down. Your throat's closed down because there's a huge entity there. It stops you from speaking. And when you do speak, it takes that energy. Your physical body is starting to become very diseased because it has had no light fueling it for many years. It's like the beautiful piece of fruit, isn't it? You've got to stay connected to the vine. You've got to stay connected to the flow of energy. As soon as you unhook yourself from the bigger energy, you start to become diseased. That is why humans are becoming diseased, because we are not connected to the flow, the true resonance and flow of energy of the earth. And they've done that to us on purpose, made us so obsessed with all of these pathetic things that are supposed to matter, that they've gradually, one by one, sneakily over time, taken all of our light, taken all of our chakras, all of our energy, manipulated our emotions, and we're dying. Humans are becoming more and more ill, more and more diseased, and they don't understand why. Add into that the angle of AI and all the AI that they're trying to get into us so that they can take over our organic bodies so that we are literally just a host for their wishes. Got to rid yourself of the AI, got to do a heavy metals cleanse. You've got to have an etheric AI energetic cleanse. That's what we do with soul center healing hypnosis. You would not believe how many people who have, you know what I mean, have got etheric spiders in their heart chakra and pineal. They will have a net, what I thought was a net when I first saw it, around the outside of the aura. It's not, it's a spider's web that connects that individual into the AI hub in this realm that is managed by a spider. Don't call it the World Wide Web for no reason. So all of this energy, we need to plug it back in. We need to unpick what has happened to us here. We need to make ourselves well again. We need to connect ourselves fully back to the planet by taking our power back in each and every stream and frequency of light that is delivered to us by our mother, Mother Earth. So for all of those people that say to me, yeah, your videos are good, you've sold me on it. I get it, I get it. But I don't want you to do it. I don't want any of your practitioners to do it. I want to do it myself. So can you just give me the information that I need to be able to go on my merry way? I do totally get that because I am a very strong person myself. But you can't do this yourself the first time. You just can't. And I'm talking from huge experience of doing thousands of sessions with people all over the world. You at least need that first session to be conducted by an other person who has the knowledge of what to do. Because you better believe if you lay down and start the process of entity release yourself, and you've got 7 demons attached that are also connected to a master, there's a gazillion earthbound spirits in there as well, because demons will pull in earthbound spirits to boss them around. And you're trying to use your consciousness to remove these entities when you've got all of those energies in there. They're going to make you feel stupid. They're going to make you feel worthless because it's what they do. And you're going to be left after that experience, probably in an even worse way, energetically and psychologically, because these things will become stronger because you're feeling as if you can't do it. Why can't I do it? You know, why can't I heal? Why won't this work for me? It's body, mind, and soul. People will say to me, well, do you do entity release on yourself? Yeah, of course I do. But the reason I'm able to do entity release on myself is because I developed this technique. I understand it inside and out. I have been verbally talking with these demons for years. I know every trick that they pull out, everything that they do. And for me, because I'm energetically clean, if I pick something up, it's only going to be one thing. And for me, shock horror, it's always in the throat. If I get anything, it's in my throat. And that will come from my children will pick something up from one of their friends. And then they'll come home and they'll start arguing, attempting to kill each other. I will intervene and I will end up getting triggered, and I might shout 3 words, and in that moment, something will hop into my throat. And because I'm so in tune with my own energy, I can tell exactly when it's happened. So then that night, I do entity release on myself, and off it goes. It's also important to note as well, when you have a session with me, you're not just getting a session with somebody that understands entities. I understand psychologically how they think because I've dealt with that many of them. I'm also a psychotherapist and a hypnotherapist. So I understand the mind and I understand how the client is feeling, regardless of the entities. So it's a whole lot of things that are going on when you have a session with somebody that's trained in this. And yes, it is my absolute wish that everybody that has a session with me then goes away and keeps themselves clean and then passes that information down generationally to their children so that their children understand it doesn't pay to be angry. Excuse me, it doesn't pay to be angry. Anger does not achieve anything. All it does is allow something to get in, which will then ruin your life because it will affect you emotionally, physically, and energetically. All of us have got to understand the role that entities play. They're actually here to help us evolve. They're here to help you evolve whichever path you've chosen. Whether you've chosen service to self, whether you've chosen service to others. Because the people that have chosen service to self, they have to polarize in a very narcissistic and self-centered way. And so the entities that are in the solar plexus are going to help those guys to evolve. For us, we want to go down the path of service to others, and through how service to self beings treat us, that traumatizes us, and we get these entities. But these entities and the things that they do to our bodies and the way that they make us feel is helping us to see, ah, so if I hadn't have reacted in that particular way or felt that particular way, then this being wouldn't have got in. This being has actually helped me learn a lot about myself. So even though this being has done some horrendous things to me, it's also helped me find my light. And for that, I am truly thankful. So when I remove these entities, I have the utmost compassion for them. And it's not hard. It's not hard. It is hard. It is hard to access that feeling when you've got something effing and blinding at you and calling you every name under the sun and telling you you're useless and you're pathetic and who do you think you are and I'm laughable, and they'll laugh at you constantly because they think that that's going to affect you. It doesn't. It just makes me laugh. So to do this work, you need to be able to access a heavy amount of compassion. And also, you need to have dealt with your own triggers so that when you're speaking to these entities, they don't trigger you. So you need to do a lot of work on yourself and get rid of your own entities before you can do entity release. And that's why I say to people, well, I want to be able to do it myself. It's not that easy. This is not something that you can just go, right, you can do it yourself. It's not that easy. You need somebody to be able to do that first entity release on you so that you are clean and clear, so that you know what your own energy feels like without these things constantly talking to you and manipulating your emotions, feeding off of your emotions. You need to have a period of time where your body acclimates to the light coming back in. So it starts to regenerate. it starts to heal. You start to feel better. You start to feel alive. And you think, dear God, how did I go so many years carrying those things and not knowing that they were there? And they made me feel so shit. But I thought that was just me. And I got so upset about how I used to behave. And then I felt so guilty about how I used to behave. And then what you're doing there is you're feeding the one at the solar plexus that feeds off of guilt, and you're feeding the one while you're behaving inappropriately because it's that entity that's making you behave that way. We need to understand this. We need to forgive ourselves for all of the things that we have done in our lives that we don't feel good about. There's many of those things. There's many of those things that I did when I was younger. Many, many, many. I was an absolute train wreck when I was younger. Train wreck. Because I came from a very, very, uh, well, a very, very traumatized family. And I made many, many choices that there's no way I'd make those choices now. But it all led me perfectly to this. So everything is divine and perfect and wonderful. And the way Source works is just, there's no words. I mean, I was talking to my students about this yesterday because I got me there. Sorry, I got a bit choked up. I run weekly Zoom chats for my practitioners and students to come together and chat. And I run two on a Thursday. I have one in the morning at 7 a.m. I have my first client, second client, and then I run another one at 4 p.m. And we were discussing, how perfect is this? How we have planned all of this. Because you'll get certain people that become magnets specifically to collect souls. We see this a lot. And the specific people all over the world. And what they will do is they will plot a particular journey for themselves that involves some significant sadness or heartbreak. And a lot of the time, it's normally around children, the loss of a child. And because that individual grieves, in a sense, for that child, what it does is it magnetically makes them, their sacral energy center, a magnet for all of the children's souls that are wanting a mother. And I see this so many times, so many times. So when a woman is holding that really deep feeling inside of the womb that they want a child, that they need a child, especially if they've lost a child, they will magnetize all of the children's souls into their sacral because they become a magnetic match. They become a frequency match. And then that individual will plot a circumstance for them throughout their life that gives them the opportunity to access a lot of these discarnate souls. And then eventually, at some point, they will come see me or one of the practitioners. And if you think about how incredible this is, that we've actually planned all of this, all of us together. Okay, so we need to collect these souls from this area. So for us to do that, I need to be this sort of person. I need to have this happen to me. So that will magnetize these souls in. And then I need to have this happen to me. So eventually that will lead me to you. Then you're going to be there. I'm going to be here. And then we can get these souls over and back to source. And the amount, sometimes you will see the angels and the team that I work with celebrating so heavily, because when we've done a session with one client, we've actually crossed over thousands of souls. So from that one session, we've been able to get 1,000 people back home, back into the light. It's powerful stuff. The angels will also celebrate as well when you get a really, really dark and dense energy that is quite high up in that social structure, and you manage to negotiate with them to accept the light, and they accept that it's probably going to be in their best interest to do that because where they are currently is crap. When you're successful with that, the angels will celebrate as well, because it's incredible to witness that a part of source, that has forgotten it is source, that has played the role of the villain for so long that it thinks it is a villain. That's all it knows. To then realize that it is so much more than that, and to see that transformation, and then to see that energy walk into the light. There's no feeling like it. It's wonderful. So doing what I do, I feel very passionate about it. Very passionate about it. I wish I could tell everybody in the world about this technique. And many, many people are never going to accept it. They're never going to understand it. They're never going to even consider it because they're happy in the old ways. That healing is go to the hospital, get something chopped out, stitch it up. Let's blast radiation at it. Let's hope it doesn't come back. Oh, it has, and it's moved. Well, let's do it again. They're happy with that method of healing. That's not for me, because I understand how the body and the energetic systems and the emotional body works. You've got to heal the root cause of all of this initially, which is the trauma. You've got to remove the entities that were attracted magnetically to the frequency of that emotion of the trauma, the emotion that you felt at the time of the trauma. Remove them from your light source. Cross them over after they've converted. Plug the light back into your body, and then your physical body will benefit from that. Dolores Cannon said that cancer in the body is to do with anger, and she was absolutely right. Cancer in the body is to do with anger. But the reason the cancer is in the body is because that person felt very, very angry about something, and they held that anger for a long time. That anger magnetically attracted an entity that feeds off of anger. The entity attached to the chakra that is connected to what the person felt angry about and starts to take that person's light. That person now has no light in that area of the body and is very, very angry. Not only are they angry, but they're carrying the entity's anger as well, which is immense because they feed off of anger. So what happens over time? The physical body develops cancer in that area because the cancer is showing you in the physical body that there is no light going into the body in that area. If you want to reverse the cancer, you need to take the entity away. You need to work through your feelings regarding that anger. You need to forgive. You need to let it go. Plug the light back in. We talk to all of the systems, the immune systems in the body, the little beings that are responsible for keeping the body healthy and well. And I will speak to the immune system of that person and I will tell them, look, the light has returned. The dark one has gone. Connect to that light, that vibration. Take it to the place where this disturbance has arisen in the body. Take it to that place. Spread that new vibration. So say it's yellow. Take the yellow frequency to that place where nothing is growing anymore, where everything seems to be going wrong. Take that yellow energy there. Spread that frequency there. And as we spread that frequency throughout that area of the body, I want you to see each and every part, each and every cell begin to shake off that density, shake off that anger, shake off that low vibration and vibrate higher. So you're dealing with the initial anger and the trauma. You're taking the entity away that's caused the cancer. You're plugging the light back in. You're speaking to the immune system. You're speaking to the cells. You're telling the client under hypnotherapy, moving forwards, this area of cancerous cells is going to become smaller and smaller and smaller. This is what they were trying to tell you, that they had no yellow. Now we've plugged the yellow back in. It is going to bring about peace, harmony, and regeneration to this area of the body. And you would not believe how many people I've worked with that have completely cured of cancer. This stuff works. It works. In my opinion, it is the future of healing. And hopefully many, many people will, over time, feel that same way too. And they will give themselves the opportunity to live, to plug their energy and their colours back into the planet so that they become a rainbow again. We're supposed to be a rainbow. We're not supposed to be sad, not supposed to be fearful, not supposed to be feeling guilty or shame or low confidence. We're supposed to shine. I'm going to leave it there for today because I think this is probably coming up for an hour now. I hope this explains in a deeper way how complex entity release is. This is not something that you can just go, right, bang, 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 that's done, off we go. This is complex. Many, many people have carried their entities for years and they don't even know that a part of their personality that they think is them isn't. It's an entity. Many people, when you do entity release on them, will report that they feel like there's too much space within their mind. They don't know what to do. They've had that many entities in there trying to take control, shaping the way they do things, because the consciousness of all of your parasites and your consciousness become one. You become a fusion because you're all energetically connected. When we remove those parasites away, it gives people a real wobble sometimes because they don't know who they are. Not only do they don't know who they are, but they've got all of this light plugged back in their bodies, and now their body is starting to purge all of the parasites and crap that was in there before that can no longer live in there because it can't stay where the light is. So you're purging all of this stuff out. You might have diarrhea, you might be being sick, you might be really selling it, aren't I? You might be losing a lot of mucus. You're also feeling like you don't know who you are anymore. But then an amazing thing happens. After probably day 5, after a session, all of your energy centers start to work together. They're clean and clear. And this can sometimes bring about a Kundalini rise very, very quickly for people because there's no blockages there in the electrical system. The energy just goes, ah, and off we go. You may have a spiritual awakening. You may have another spiritual awakening if you've already had one. But the body starts to work as a whole system that is uninfluenced by lower frequency energies and beings. You vibrate higher. You feel better because you haven't got those constant thoughts in your head telling you that you're an idiot. All of the illness in your body disappears because it is a law of the universe, and this is science, that when you plug a certain specific frequency into a space, everything around that really strong frequency will change itself to take on the vibration of that frequency. It's like the fruit, isn't it? In a fruit bowl, if you've got a beautiful, gorgeous fruit and you stick a rotten piece next to it, the rotten piece will eventually turn that one rotten as well. Like frequency affects the other one. Well, when we plug the light back into people, which is the higher frequency, when we plug the light in, all of the cells around that light begin to alter their vibration to the light, which brings about complete healing within the body. in all of the areas. I can tell by a person's disease or illness which area of the body has no light. It's all to do with light and entities. Okay, I'm going to go now. I hope that that was of use to some of you. And I hope it explained in a better and deeper way why having your first entity release session with somebody who knows what they are doing. This is not something to be messed with. You know, a lot of these entities, they're not nice. And you need somebody that knows what they're doing. You cannot possibly, after carrying those entities for all those years, you cannot possibly have the strength of mind and being to be able to remove them yourself when they have been affecting your consciousness for all of that time. Your first session, you do need somebody else to do it for you. Once you've had that first session done and you're clean and clear, and you start to understand how you feel when you're clean and clear, and you start to understand who you are without these energies being there. Don't forget, some people are born with a sacral parasite. So they've never had access to their own consciousness that is just by itself. Never. That's crazy. But it happens all the time, especially down ancestral lines where there's been problems in the relationship with the female members. Happens a lot. So you do need somebody to help you in the first instance. Once you've had that first session, you're good to go. You can do entity release on yourself every week, and then you're never going to be in that situation ever again because you can keep on top of it. But when you are right down in the depths of being gripped by these things, you can't see the wood for the trees. You do need some help. Okay, I am going to go now. For anybody that might be watching this and thinking, how can I get a session with that lady? I will be opening my 2024 sessions out probably in December. I'm not going to release them before then because what people do is they book a session for January in October or November. And then it gets to January and they skint and they think, oh, well, I guess my entities can stay with me a little bit longer. I'm going to cancel my session and get my money back. And then I end up in January with a heck of a lot of cancellations at the last minute. And that's not the way I want to work because I want to be able to see as many people as I can with the time that I've got in order to be able to help as many people heal. So that being said, don't book a session with me if you're going to cancel it, please. And I will release them in December. In the meantime, if you want in a session now, please visit www.schofficial.com, which is behind me there, where you can, if you scroll down, you can find a list of my practitioners who have gone through their theoretical training and their practical training. So they have done all of the training and they are able to offer those services out to the general public. Okay, so I'll see you again soon. I'm probably not going to post anything for a few weeks now because of childcare issues, and also I am going on holiday. So I might see you while I'm on my holiday, depending on where you are. So look out for a small, kind of blonde, dirty blonde British woman, quite posh, but a little bit Derbyshire, trying to herd some kids around, and my husband. Um, and who knows, we might get to meet in real life. Right, guys, see you again soon. Lots of love. Take care. Bye, everybody.